And welcome back. Well, I'm sure it's happened to all of us. You're driving, you hear a notification of a ring or a text beep from your cell phone. And our culture today has led us to the feeling of always being connected. And we know it becomes tempting to answer that call or that text, even though we should absolutely ignore it. It gives you anxiety when you hear that sound.
It does. I mean, it's like a proven scientific fact. Here with information to keep your family safe is Ann Scallon from Before the Wheel. It's an online resource for safe teen driving and safe parent driving
adults
too.
need to hear it as well.
Great to see you. We were just talking about this during the commercial break. I admit, I check my cell phone and will send a text while waiting at a stoplight.
Me too. And I know it's wrong.
And it's wrong. Why? Because you're in traffic. You're involved. You're driving, and that's where your focus is supposed to be.
Right, and also the people, you know, one or two cars behind you don't really know that you're looking at the phone. And so they're waiting for that light to turn green and they're ready to, you know, put the pedal to the metal.
Yeah.
And so that's why you see a lot of these angry situations at intersections.
I've been beat
because some people are stopped and they're not responding and other people are ready to go. And I find myself the worst thing for me is the apps for directions and traffic.
Yes.
And I find myself like trying to sneak a peek at that.
Yes.
And then sure enough, I hear somebody beeping and you don't realize how much time has passed.
Agreed.
Yeah. Well, and now you can do it, you know, where you click go or whatever, and you get voice prompts on where to turn.
But you still glance
but
at it
you
sometimes.
still happen to glance at it because you're like, now how far is that exit?
Yeah,
right. You know, that kind of thing.
Because it'll go silent for a while and you're like, why is it silent?
Yeah. Why aren't you still talking?
Yes. Or when you're texting, it goes off your screen. No, I'm just kidding. I don't text and drive. I do not text and drive. That is one thing. But the thing that we have to keep in mind, and this is, I've said this before, is there's precious cargo. You know, like I've said that to people before when they're looking at their phone and it's like, you know, themselves, you, kids, all that stuff. And as Molly said, you have to be a role model as well and you have to model good behavior. But those are questions that you need to ask yourself. Is it worth putting other people in the car at risk?
Right, right. So one thing that's really helpful is right when you get in the car, just kind of as you're adjusting your mirrors or whatever you're doing, stop yourself and say, what are my priorities for this trip? And your priorities should be getting to point A, from point A to point B safely, and everybody else. And like you said, the most important people are in your car and the most important people to others are in their car, and then there's pedestrians and bicyclists, and they are out in big numbers with the change to good weather.
Absolutely.
Something happens to us when our phone rings and we hear the ding or whatever you're programmed your phone for, that you've received a text. What is your suggestion for having our phones in the car, assuming maybe we don't have it on Google Maps or something getting directions? Turn off the sound, put it in the console. What do you think is the best practice?
If you're not the type of person who can I can resist the binging of the phone. Now, if I know I'm waiting for a call, I will just within the next 10 to 20 minutes find a place to pull over safely. And pulling over on the side of the highway is not pulling over safely.
Right.
So you have to be on a side street, a parking lot, something like that. But if you are the type who cannot resist that sound, I just say turn it off.
A lot of phones do have the auto reply that says I'm driving.
Oh, okay.
You know, I have gotten that from a few people when I send them a text. So I know some phones do it. I don't think that the iPhone has it yet. I think it's coming out. But anyway, that's something to check, I think, with your provider on. Because I think it would be nice if they all have it, because then you can just put it in driving mode.
Right.
So that would be nice.
That is great.
There's a lot of people, though. Here's the deal. You might be responsible for yourself. You might be responsible for the people that you're riding with. But what if you're riding with someone and they have this maybe it's an entitlement or whatever it may be. They've never gotten in an accident, so they feel like they're good at it. You know, some people will justify it that way. How do you talk to someone about it? Because I do feel like a lot of people get extremely irritated when you ask them to stop being on their phone.
Right, right. Well, you can go online. There's several studies that have been done by the neuroscientists, and you can't get good at it. Our brains are not designed to get good at it. We're going to respond to whatever stimuli seems most important to us at the time. So if somebody's focusing on the phone, that seems the most important. If they decide to, you know, completely put that away, then they are, you know, focusing on the traffic and all the the lights and all the things that we're supposed to be doing in traffic. So we are put in these awkward situations, and sometimes you just have to say, I'm not comfortable with this. I say that to people, of course, you know, they're not happy. And a lot of times it has nothing to do with texting. They're following somebody super closely, and we're going 70 miles an hour or something like that.
And so you'll just say, hey, back off.
Yeah, I'll just say I'm not comfortable with that, and usually they don't listen. We've talked about this, you know, for teens how hard it is, because with adults it's hard. They're just kind of like, get over it, you know.
Exactly.
And so, but you have to say, well, you know, going forward, I don't think we're going to be driving together. I mean,
Be confident in
it's
saying
a good conversation.
Safety.
Yep, you got to have it with your kids too. Go to beforethewheel.com. It's an excellent resource for safe driving. Ann, thank you so much.
Thanks, Ann.
thank you.